Should you be using photos on your TikTok? We recently had a conversation about whether or not TikTok was pushing photos on the platform because there's a brand new feature inside of our dashboard specifically for photos. Now, here's what we know. You absolutely can be using photos, and initially when we have a brand new feature, they tend to push that, but it should not overtake the content you're creating. The vast majority of what you're doing, 90% or more, should be that video-based content. This is what develops trust, communication, and community on your platform. So you need to be focused on that, but every once in a while, maybe once or twice a week, you can be posting some photos, and I recommend you do this in an album. You want to make sure you've got big, bold words so people know what you are going to be talking about, and you're not writing a novel in each of the graphics. You want to save that for your caption where people can read more. So be very clear and specific about what you're doing and have eye-catching graphics. Selfies where you're holding your phone close up, not going to cut it. And we also have tutorials on how you can level up your design, even if you're taking your photos on your phone, to look a little more professional in our design playlist, which we will link down below for you. You can be leaning into this to have a conversation with your audience, to let them know information about upcoming events. You can post your upcoming live streams. You can do things off of the platform. This is a really good opportunity for you to lean into, but it should not be the majority of your content. Now, of course, you can repurpose things like your Instagram stories if they're valuable, but we're focusing on those albums. We want 3 to 5, maybe 7 slides if you're doing something instructional. So if you're giving step-by-step instructions for cooking something, making something, doing something, feel free, use as many as you need, do what you need to do. Keep the bulk of the content for your caption again, but give that bullet point list of information on your slides. You have to keep in mind, most people can consume photos really, really quickly, but if there's a ton of information to read, they're not going to stick around for that. So it's got to be something they can easily swipe through and get that quick win or that piece of content, that information, that action step as you're creating your content so that they know what's going on and they don't scroll away. If you bore them at any point, they will leave. It's very easy to swipe away from photos. So you can be leaning into this, but again, once or twice a week. We don't want to do more than that, and that's if you're posting content daily. If you're only posting content once or twice a week, you should do it once a month and no more. You want to make sure that you are giving the vast majority of your video content to your audience, because they're not going to stick around for photos very long. We are, of course, seeing the rise of photos again on the platforms. People are very angry at Instagram for going video first. We are seeing the rise of Lemon8. Lemon8 is owned by TikTok's parent company, so we're actually seeing that crossover there. So they're leaning into photos on the platform, but that does not replace the fact that you should be on those other platforms if you want more of a photo presence. You want to make sure you're keeping your graphic design clean, easy to understand, with fonts that people can clearly read without having to lean close and figure out what the scriptiness is. So you want to make sure that you are aware of how this works. A really good opportunity is to go over to Lemon8 and to scroll through their FYP, which is very similar to the FYP on TikTok, where you can see a lot of people's content. By scrolling through, you're going to get an idea of the good graphic design, and that will translate well over to TikTok. We're not just doing basic images. We want to make sure we're communicating through this and doing something that will stop the scroll. Test things out. This is going to be a trial period for you. You're going to see what works and what doesn't, and I highly recommend that you do test this out. It should not be your entire strategy, but it can definitely be a 10% part of your strategy. Questions on this, go ahead and drop them down below, and hit up the graphic design videos, but we are linking in the playlist down below for you. Let me know your questions. I would love to get them answered for you. I've been in graphic design for a really long time and teaching on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, live streaming, Lemon8, and the tools and resources you need to save time and effort creating your content, because your content, for 90% of what you do, shouldn't take more than 5 minutes start to finish, which is what I teach my students so they can get back to running their businesses and living their best life. We'll see you in the upcoming episodes. Be sure to hit that subscribe bell so that you don't miss out. And if you've got those questions, drop them down below.